Hello and welcome to the GT vs. Super Podcast, Episode 8. I'm your host, Anime Danme, and with me is Bob.
Hey guys.
From GigaBoots. Well, we sure did watch 2 episodes of anime. We watched some shit, okay? We watched some shit. 2 episodes of garbage, 2 episodes of less hot garbage. Yep. Sorry, that's not the name of these series. We watched 2 episodes of GT and 2 episodes of Super, and my burn is nondescript, so you could determine which of those I was slamming harder. I'll leave that to you. It's open to interpretation. But we have some comments from Xeon.
Oh, yeah. All right.
It's the shortest comments he's ever left. And I think it'll explain why in the second part of this, but are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Xeon says, I don't have time to write a full rebuttal, but I will say that Doll Taki is technically not a pedo. He's a, quote, doll otaku. But yeah, he's also a total pedo analog. In today's episodes, Pan stops being a doll and immediately Doll Taki wants to do things to her.
Yes. Immediately.
That doesn't sound like it's not technically a pedo.
Right. He seems like,
pretty damn...
He spells it out pretty well in the last episode, too, of like, no, he's turned these real girls into these dolls and playing with them.
Yep.
That was the thing. He's a pedo. It's... Yeah.
So that's fun. Second part of Xeon's comment, I can't understand how you both hated episode 11 of Super, but liked episode 12. That take was so hot, I just stopped listening to the podcast.
We got him, guys.
We finally beat him. That was the actual goal of this series. I think we can turn off this episode right now.
That's true.
We finally got Xeon back for beating us over the head with nonstop Dragon Ball talk. That we said something so offensive, he stopped listening to a fucking YouTube video. We're finally in this 1 second, this one moment, Xeon, even. We're finally even. So Bob, what do you want to talk about instead of these two? Because it doesn't matter. We accomplished the actual goal of the podcast. I feel very accomplished.
Finally over. Jesus.
We have all these notes.
8 episodes?
I don't even know.
8 episodes of this thing?
Yeah.
That's
15 episodes of... Yeah, it took us 2 fucking months to say something to get Xeon triggered enough to not listen anymore, but we finally did it, and we didn't have to lie. That was our genuine opinion.
Right, we weren't ironic there or anything.
Yeah, we weren't being disingenuous. We weren't being ironic at any point, except for maybe in our enjoyment of GT at times. Where Super, I feel the enjoyment there was genuine, because it does better comedy writing.
Right.
Yeah, just
whether that's a US staff or Japanese, who cares? It doesn't matter.
And, continue to do that in episode 14 and 15 with the comedy writing. Bob, I feel like maybe these first 15 episodes are emblematic of the entirety of both series. Maybe we're also good on that front. Maybe we really don't have to continue this series. Either way, we're wrapping up season 1 here.
Yeah.
Of GT versus Super. Do you think they're still there?
We don't need to talk about these episodes,
Are you sure? I think we do. I think they're still listening to this episode.
God, we told you, though.
We won, damn it! We won out! It's like, say you won against Jigsaw, right?
Uh-huh.
You won against that fucking old piece of shit. And then he's just like, you should get right back in. You're like, no, fuck you, I won. Eat a dick.
There's another key in your eyeball. I swear.
I would probably just yell, oh, come on. That's not even original. You did my first eyeball the first time. You're doing my second the second time. I'm going to be blind, you dipshit. How am I going to figure out where the keyhole is? He's like, oh, it's a parable. An analog. It's a metaphor. I'm really smart. Which, surprisingly enough, is actually how Xeon's Battle of Gods arc review ends. He yells, it's a parable, it's a metaphor, it's an analog, I'm really smart.
I'm sure it's all that's in
weird.
there. I wouldn't watch it, but you tell me.
So in episode 14 of GT...
all I wrote was Lude's red now.
That is not true. I wish that's all I wrote.
Right?
Maybe that's our problem. We're taking this too seriously.
Right? Why were you going over all this junk? It's just stupid.
We should take the Rosa-chan approach and just watch it at 1.5 times speed. Save ourselves some time.
Yeah.
If DBZ's going to play in slow motion, why shouldn't we speed it up mechanically? I'm just saying. Human beings should aim to fix what God did not.
So what we need is somebody to go edit GT and Super to be shorter.
Yeah, Xeon can do that.
Yeah.
He's already doing his own fan edit. Why wouldn't he fan edit GT? He says he loves GT. It's obviously more deserving.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they think so. No, sorry. GT's already perfectly paced, perfectly put together. Why would you have to edit?
I don't even know why I have this many notes then.
Right?
What the fuck is the point of these? But, okay. Lude is super powerful because, as we covered in the last episode, he sucked in the soul of Daltaku.
And
Daltaki.
in Pan.
In Pan. And he now just shoots a laser out of his eyes that causes a nuclear explosion in the distance. And he keeps doing that throughout the episode. He's just shooting lasers everywhere and all that stuff. We cut to Mew laughing over how powerful Lude is. And then we cut to the inside of Lude where all of the minions, Pan and Daltaki, are trapped in there in some sort of floating ether space of darkness. And the pedo floats right up to Pan and tries to, like, get, you know, he's like, oh, Pan, how's it going? And then Pan's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And hits him, and he's like, oh, you're nothing like my Pan.
Right.
And then,
yeah.
Let's see. Pan just continues to beat on him, being filler, and then shoots him, and he goes, not in the face. And it bounces off of a bunch of minions and or walls. We couldn't figure it out. It was a little weird how it was animated, but the laser bounces off of a bunch of those and then hits him in the face. And it's a funny gag, and Daltaki's hair is ruined here. All the minions wake up, and then Lude's still nuking stuff. We're now 7 notes in.
I wanted to point out Goku and Trunks were super impressed by the nuke that the lasers were coming out of, or the lasers that Lude was shooting.
They were impressed by how powerful the lasers Lude was shooting were.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
That's a sentence.
It's weird. It's like, okay, I guess he's that cool because Pan's power is that much. That extra kick he needed. Now he's just super powerful.
Yes. Now he too, much like Antlions and everything else in GT, is stronger than Frieza.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just nuking stuff everywhere, and cuts back into the inside. Daltaki says, I can't give up Lord Mew's secrets about how to escape. And then Pan's like, hey, Par brothers, how about you make him say it? And then they start dancing, and
yeah, the Parvers are in here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they were in there. They were in there in the first place. They were there before it was cool. So they started dancing.
It really bugged me that apparently this guy knew how to get out of Lude, and yet Mew threw him in there. Like, he didn't see what could go wrong.
Yeah, he just wanted the perfect Lude, and he figured Daltaki would just be cool being in there forever.
Yeah, apparently they're fully conscious inside this thing and can still.
Well, he did send Pan in too. Maybe he just thought Lude would, or Daltaki would settle for being inside of Lude forever with Pan.
Maybe.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
That sounds like
that totally
something
makes sense.
Somebody would write to
on a wiki.
Cover cover the butts.
Yeah. So the Par brothers dance, and they make Daltaki reveal that there's a red cell above them all. And then he explains Mew made Lord Lude out of a single cell of his. He made into a mutant. He grew into a mutant. And it just became a giant mutant created from the one cell of Mew's. And according to Daltaki, if they shoot the cell simultaneously from the inside and out, Lude will die. So Pan shoots it from the inside, and Lude's eyes go all googly. And then he's like, you dumbass, I said inside and out. And then then they're like, well, how are we going to communicate to Grandpa and Trunks that we need to shoot it from the inside and out? And the Par brothers are like, or Don Par specifically says, oh, I can use telepathy. she's like, why didn't you say that sooner? And he's like, because you're scary as hell. And she's like, oh, sorry about that. And then all three Paras pull out microphones because that's how they do telepathy, and they now have fancy vests on as they barbershop quartet this, but there are only three of them, so barbershop trio this, and they sing to the song. They sing the message to Goku, right?
Right.
They're like, hey Goku, hey Goku, hey Goku, you need to hit the red cell. And then he's like, what red cell? The whole thing's fucking red. And then Pan's like, he can't see it from the outside. So then Pan shoots the cell, and a hole appears in its upper left part of its body, even though this is like the second time she shot it.
Right.
It appears and shines. And then Goku's like, oh, I need to shoot that. Okay. So then they need to time it, right?
Right.
And they're trying to time it, and it's getting complicated, and they keep doing this over and over, and it's just the thing now, right? That's the thing for this episode.
The thing.
They're trying to get the Para brothers to time it with Goku, and they stop singing, and Pan freaks out on them because she's like, you said you had to fucking sing to use telepathy, and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I like
and that was a good moment.
Yes, it was pretty good.
At one point in this episode, I looked at Bob and I said, Para brothers are better than absolutely everything else here. Get rid of Pan, get rid of this whole timeline, get rid of everything. Just leave the Para brothers. You could have some fun adventures with them. They don't even have to be bad guys.
Just have him, I don't know, Draco's sidekick.
Fuck Giru. Take Giru out, put Paras in.
Right, no, God, Giru is the worst.
Way better series. But then, they realize Goku can't figure out rhythm, like going 1, 2, and 3 and shooting on 3 because Goku can't figure out math and numbers. Yeah. So then he's like, why don't you just replace the numbers with words? And they're like, okay, what words do you want us to use? And he says, say pepper pot, pickle pot, purple pot, and we'll shoot on purple pot. And they're like, okay, I guess that'll work. And Pan goes, what does he want you to say? And they go, he wants us to say blank, the thing I just said. And she's like, man, that's weird. Okay, whatever. I don't care. Just do it. And they do it, and they time it successfully, and they shoot it on the inside and out. And then his head, he falls apart. Lord Lude does, and his parts fall apart, and his head rolls off, and he's a giant armor, clearly, and not a mutant. It's really weird, but
yeah, it's like,
and then he even makes mechanical sounds as his mouth closes, and he goes. Mutant.
Definitely mutant. None of the explanation for the cell thing had anything to do with him collecting power from all these people. It seems like something else. It was just showing another plot line.
I call that a stick shift factoid.
And
it's factoid they threw out as they slammed the stick shift into a different gear and tried to get this onto the plot line they wanted it to end at.
Just like last episode, after we finished recording, I wrote another note for this time of how the Para Bros also have nothing to do with Lude or any of this. And
yes.
They seem like they were certainly a separate thing.
Yes, no,
so much of that.
That's kind of the series.
Yeah, that's all the series.
It's like nothing actually has to do with each other, and it's a random mishmash of ideas that a room full of writers came up with very fleetingly as they rushed to put everything together. And yet I hear the pre-production on Super was shorter, which I find hard to believe given... I mean, Super was handed a whole plot, so...
Right.
But in any case... All the souls escape. They go back in their original bodies. Everyone's happy. But then they're like, where's Daltaki? And it cuts to Daltaki in a ship. And he goes, ha, 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 ha. And he flies away. And Pan's like, wait, roar! And jumps up and down futilely. No one shoots energy beams. No one flies after him. And he's not even going. He's not even going that fast.
That's what they always do. They just land there watching.
It's the most GT thing about this.
Yes. Ugh.
Yeah, no, it's devastating emotionally to deal with this writing. It ravages my soul every week. But then the narrator kicks in. This is my favorite part of this episode because it's so befuddling. The narrator kicks in and they're like, Daltaki got away. But what was the meaning of his cryptic last words? And we're like, he didn't say anything. He just said, ha ha, later.
Right?
It's like, what does that mean?
It was very cryptic.
I wonder if he's gonna see them later. And then we cut to the next episode, and as the intro starts playing, he says the same fucking thing. I was like, what? Really? Cryptic black words?
Look, we have to make something out of literally nothing that happened.
Yeah, no. Bob, do you have any comments on 14 before we move on to 15?
And there were weirdly few amount of people that were inside Loot because
it was like a seventh of what you would expect. Given that with the crowd we saw go in that barely filled it at all was about 5 times as large.
Yeah,
if not larger.
Like,
so
the giant crowd didn't like. I think they were.
It
all
ended up being a classroom full,
right?
Even though before it was like a graduating class full. Yeah, it was real weird.
Right, it was real
weird.
What? Okay,
I don't know, man. Let's talk about episode 15.
Oh my God, episode 15. Jesus.
So
This start. My God,
they're on the spaceship. They're already traveling through space. Giru eats Pan's food and says it has similar attributes to fertilizer. And she screams at him for being a robot that can eat. Why does a robot need to eat? Don't say things like that. You need to learn to not say things like that. Then GT doesn't learn how to not say things like that, as Trunks says, if we don't find a way to stop Mew, he'll destroy the whole universe. Okay, so Trunks wasn't even there for the meeting with Mew and Daltaki, so I guess Pan filled him in.
I guess.
Did Pan just embellish?
Maybe.
She was like, he's going to destroy the whole universe. He isn't just going to rule over it. He's going to destroy it all.
That's his thing. Pan knew.
And then Trunks also says, this is one running sentence, basically. I had to take 2 notes on one sentence. That's how weird this intro was. Ever since we left planet Galbo, they've anticipated our every move. Which planet was Galbo?
I assume it's where
yet again, where Trunks is mixing writer knowledge and character knowledge. Classic D&D mistake.
We have nothing tells us what, like, how would they know that they're being tracked? How? It's an insane sentence. Bad. It's like after other episodes happened, they could do, but here it makes no sense.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. So Trunks points out this is really dangerous. They should probably stop by Earth to drop off Pan, and Pan screams at him and says, "I can take care of myself." And she goes up to her room to cry. Giru says, "Hey, I detected a Dragon Ball," and so they stop on a planet to get a Dragon Ball. It's left
out the part where Giru tried to make her feel better because Giru wants to be a friend.
And that's important. I left that out. Thank you. She was crying.
The crux of the episode.
She was crying, and Giru tried to hand her a tissue, a handkerchief. So they land on the planet, and Pan goes, "They'll let me stay if I get a Dragon Ball." And then they get out of the ship, and all 3 of them are wearing shades because they're real cool because it's a desert planet and it's hot. And then they're like, holy shit, it is way too hot for this. And the giant antlions attack and crush the ship's cooling system. So after Goku fights them a bit, they're like, well, we need to repair the ship. And Trunks starts taking an iron type thing, like for ironing clothes, to the outside of the hull to weld it back into shape.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to have to go get water at some point. And Goku protects them from antlions, and Trunks does that, and Pan just wanders off. And then later,
nobody noticed his plan wanders off somehow.
And then later, Giru wanders off after Pan and goes, I'm going to go get Pan. Pan is in trouble. And somehow they still don't notice that. Later, that comes up that they didn't even...
Goku and Trunks didn't even notice, yeah.
Even though Trunks was staring right at the fucker as he screamed it.
Yep.
Oh, boy. So Trunks is like, we chose the wrong planet to run out of water on. I also missed a note here about how Trunks said, play somewhere out of the way to Pan, and that's what inspired her.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Pan, while wandering the desert, loses her way and totally passes out.
She literally says, it's so hot, it's hard to fly.
Yes.
It's so hot, it's hard to fly.
Because she would have to exert herself to fly, and she's already so hot.
It's so hot.
That it's hard to fly.
It's insane.
Bob, I don't know if you've flown a lot, but it helps when it's not hot.
I guess.
It's really preferable to not be hot when you fly.
No, this whole episode, I was just thinking about that time in Dragon Ball Z when Goku, took a dip in a hot spring that was 2,000 degrees or something.
Yeah.
I know that was during the Snake Way stuff, but Hey, that's canon to GT, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything in the anime is canon to GT.
And he liked it. He was like, man, this is great.
I thought you were implying Xeon liked it, but it's like, yeah, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he likes Snake Way. Who the hell doesn't like Snake Way?
Snake Way's great.
Snake Way's great.
It's way better than any of this.
Yep. I miss Snake Way.
Let's just go back and watch Snake Way.
The Home for Infinite Losers was a lot better than this. So in any case, she passes out, and her canteen drops in the sand, and she starts getting sucked in by a sort of like antlion whirlpool of sand, right?
Right.
And Giru, while wandering after her, a twister, the worst drawn twister I've ever fucking seen in my life.
What in the world was that?
I don't know.
It was just those black lines.
Castlevania 2's twister looks better. Because they filled it in with color. Any color. That's literally... Imagine, guys. Imagine you're drawing a twister, right? A very cartoonish twister. You would draw a cone-like thing, and then you would draw detail black lines on it, like a squiggly, and then you would color it so it's not transparent. Well, imagine if you just did the black squiggly line, and you just had that slide across the desert.
Right, you didn't even put
no effects, no color, no nothing.
Right, no...
Black squiggly lines slide across the desert.
No outline around the whole thing. Just,
nothing.
Just little squiggly black
nothing.
lines. I thought it was going to be a plot point, but no, it was just... that's what the twister looked like.
It looks worse than anything in Super, which is amazing. Super can't even draw a Goku.
No, it can never do that.
But this can't draw a twister. This can't even draw something resemblant of a twister. You gotta say, that guy in Super, the main character, pretty resemblant of Goku.
At least it was person-shaped. That was definitely not twister-shaped.
Exactly my point. Exactly. So the worst drawn ever... The worst drawn twister ever picks up Giru and sort of buries him in sand, and then he just keeps moving. But we cut to Daltaki walking up to Mew in a chair, and he says, "Man, those people are really powerful, but I have an idea. You know, we're gonna talk them over to our side. We're gonna make them work for us." Maybe Daltaki would have been better if he was a little bit less pedophile and more Oh man, what's the name of the guy from Jurassic Park? The really great guy.
Oh.
Shows up in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh man.
God damn it.
Every time something comes
Whatever.
up.
In any case, him.
Yes.
Right? You should have been like him. You should have been like, listen here. What if we got them over to our side, right? And that's what I can do for you. See, that would have been perfect. In that one moment, Daltaki would have been perfectly played by that guy I can't remember the name of right now, which is fine. You find people on the internet, can look it up. You're smart people. I trust you know who I'm talking about. But it isn't Mew, it's General Rieldo, a character who sounds like he belongs in Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
He turns around and shoots him fucking dead.
Yes.
And then the monitors he was sitting next to turn on, and Mew's like, "Good job, you really didn't waste time. By the way, go get those kids, but don't kill them. Bring them to me, but don't kill them." Okay, let's see. Yeah. We cut back to the desert planet.
I thought it was so insane that Daltaki was go back to Mew. Like, he literally tried to... He killed you last time. Like, yes. he assumed you were dead after what he had done.
Yep.
Why would you do that? That'd be the last thing you should do. Yep. And there he goes.
I thought it was insane that the writers of GT had him escape that planet just to show him in one scene in this episode getting blasted.
Right? Like, why even bother?
Well, our main characters can't kill people.
Nope.
They can't even kill anything, actually. Like antlions.
Antlions?
The antlions were giving Goku a lot of trouble.
They were giving Goku trouble.
Whatever. We cut back to Giru, and Giru's like, "It is 112 degrees Fahrenheit." Also, I wrote down at this note here, right?
Uh-huh.
It had been bugging me the whole episode, but this was my breaking point. For some reason, the desert planet really had like Mars texture going on it, but only selectively. It had sand dunes, and then it just had things that were clearly modeled on shots of how Mars surface looks.
Huh.
And it just like, it kept going back to that very moon-like stuff. And I'm like, no other planet has just looked like they were modeling an actual celestial body. But this one seems like it keeps hearkening to, oh, this is kind of like how Mars looks. And I'm like, this is really bugging me because it's hyper textured. Overall, cartoonish deserts. But it kept cutting to segments of shots or entire shots that were hyper detailed celestial, like outer space photography shots. And I'm like, what is even... Get a fucking art style and stick with it. You just didn't know what to do because it was sand, which is fucked because you already did a sand planet.
Did they? Oh, right, they did. Jeez.
The brain damage. The ravaging of Bob's mind by GT does not cease.
Too harsh, man.
Here's another note I wrote down. No more pedophiles.
Oh, yeah, they blew him up.
So that's
hopefully,
good.
Well, we don't know about this general guy yet.
Hopefully Digibro doesn't show up.
Right? That'd be bad.
That kind of fucked that for us, wouldn't it? I bet he'd fuck Pan for us, too. You laughed! God, that's the best awful. Part. You could see Bob's face instantly be like, that was terrible, but his mouth laughed, and he was like, oh, no. Do you think the comment section is good? I'm gonna be real with you guys. Because of how many spoilers are generally in our comment section for this series, I kind of really skim it. It's the only comments on my entire channel that I skim because people are hell-bent on spoiling this. Like, the whole point of the series is you're supposed to experience it through our novel eyes. We've never seen these before. We don't have a huge attachment. So when you sit there and try to spoil later parts, you're really working against the idea of the series, which is pretty fucking dumb. I now perfectly understand what Jeff Gerstmann and Dan Reichert are going through. Because that's a problem for them.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because people want to...
Not get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever.
They want to talk about how they're wrong.
And don't think it's limited to the comments. Xeon will come over to my house and also try to fucking do it. So it's not just you guys. I'm not trying to hammer on you. I'm not trying to insult you.
If anything, I mean, it's a bigger problem with Xeon.
Oh yeah. Good lord. He's like, don't worry, they'll explain the connection between Mew and Juro. I'm like, why are you fucking telling? In any case, hey Bob.
Hey.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about how Giru fucks up an antlion.
Yeah.
To save Pan.
Yeah, apparently Giru's
something Goku couldn't even do effectively.
Yeah.
Every time he tried to beat up one, they seemed fine.
Yeah.
And then Giru just fucking wrecks it. Giru, confirmed for more powerful than Frieza. Join the fucking club. And then we get a shot of them finding the water. They found a water spring, all of them. They're all reunited. I'm skipping a huge amount of time.
Yeah,
because it was just Giru beats up a thing and Pan sees her life flash before her eyes.
And then Pan's like, oh man, I'm sorry for everything bad I said about you, Giru. Now that you're coming here to save me.
And then Giru gives her water and she lives. And then they find the water that Giru found. And then they have a water spring and they can get water for the ship.
And apparently Giru found the Dragon Ball too. That just comes up.
Yeah, he's like, I also found this. That was it. It's real quick.
It's just a pile of
stuff. In any case, and then we cut to a nice lower angle of Goku leaping into the pond.
Oh my god.
The spring, naked. So yet again, yet another episode of GT, yet another Goku penis. Thanks, GT.
Well, maybe
that's
goals.
what it stands for. Goku's testicles. That's what GT stands for.
Yeah, that's a real definition there. Definitely.
Trunks at this point looks at Pan and says, sorry, Pan, for suggesting that we should take you home when we're about to fight some guy who could destroy the universe. We're a team of 4, and if we take any one of us away, we won't work nearly as well. And it's like, no, as you covered, Goten's on Earth, and as you didn't cover, Vegeta's on Earth. And then they play in the water at the end.
Yep.
Hey,
exciting.
Bob, how did you feel about GT overall this episode?
Bad. Like, this should have been a lot better than the last episode because it was just more goofiness.
And way less gross.
Yes.
You notice the episode where you and me agree that Super's better than GT is the one that Xeon rage quit?
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to point that out. I'm not going to say anything about, like, that's why, maybe. But I'm just going to say he thought he had an agent.
Right.
He thought he had a guy on the inside. But I'm no sellout, Xeon. I stick to my guns. And my guns say, I don't watch Digibro, and I'm not going to deal with Daltaki either.
At least he's dead in this episode, right?
Wait, Digibro died in this episode?
I wish, man. I'm sorry.
No, the other pedophile. There are only 2 in anime.
Right, definitely.
Wait, probably not.
No, that's definitely wrong.
Man, I'm really glad I'm not familiar with anime YouTubers. Now then, we watched Dragon Ball Super. Now, here's the problem. And we need to cover this up front. We ran out of Blu-ray discs to watch of Super.
Yes.
Because Xeon didn't buy the part after this yet, as far as we know.
Right, he told us he didn't, so we believe him.
We trust that he just wouldn't lie to us and sabotage this podcast, which he himself condoned and then later retweeted a thing completely polar opposite saying, hey guys, stop comparing GT and Super. I'm like, which is it, asshole? But, he wants to have his cake and eat it too, and that's fine.
Yeah, right.
As long as he says one thing in person and does the other on Twitter, that's separation of church and state right there. So we started watching the stream version, which is based on the simuldub, which is not touched up for home release like the Blu-ray was.
What we're saying is it was beautiful.
What we're saying is this is probably the worst animated episode since 4. What a drop. Oh, man.
I mean, I think that, the whole thing starts with a fight, or the fight with Goku and Beerus still going.
Yes.
I think they actually had some pretty neat ideas for the way the fight looked. Like, it's not animated great.
No.
The individual frames don't look good.
No.
But it was fun. Like, it felt like a Dragon Ball Z fight. And they actually had neat ideas for the way that they're punching each other and going underwater. And showing each other around. It's like, it looked like a fight sequence in a show in an anime. Something I hadn't seen in GT yet, I
disagree because, maybe the animation individually, but, when you're talking about the larger progress of the battle, it's the same problem that happened before in episode 11 or 12 or whatever, where, I think it was 10 or 11, where, because they don't want to take the fight to any cities, because they don't want to take the fight to any forests, because they don't want to take the fight anywhere but the ocean and space, Beers knocks Goku down to the ocean and drags him under the ocean, then drags him out into space. Then Goku starts burning up the atmosphere. Then Goku flies back at him. Then Goku starts burning up the atmosphere. Then Goku falls to the end. Yeah, it's super fucking repetitive in a way where it's like you wrote the script, looked at it, and said, yeah, that's a good storyboard.
Yeah, no, it's got those same repetitive problems, but I'm saying when they're actually clashing and hitting each other, they've come up with some interesting looks to it. Mainly the beginning.
Yes.
Like, it totally dropped off after that. Like, there's more, that sort of thing was just going on at the beginning of this fight in this episode.
Keep going. You can go ahead and start the summary part. I gotta go not be a part of this, but I mean, I have a dial over here I need to turn down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you do your thing.
There's even this neat thing where Beerus splits himself into 10 versions of himself and shoots lasers at Goku. It was pretty neat. It looked all right.
Is he Tien Shinhan?
Yeah, sure. It was, yeah. I enjoyed it. I honestly didn't even write that much about this episode because it was mostly just this fight scene.
Yeah, my notes are almost half as long as the other ones. I did write that as he's dragging him underwater, Goku says, I need air.
Yeah, right. It was like, you were in space.
He's been in space for a lot of this. And you can tell he's been in space and outside of the atmosphere because he keeps burning up in the atmosphere every time he starts falling towards the Earth.
Right.
If he was still in the atmosphere, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a super weird line.
It's very inconsistent.
He yelled something after...
Beers, before the 9 beers thing, Beers says, are you really surprised? I already told you I mastered a technique that neutralizes energy. And I'm like, yeah, you did do that in the other episode and you said something pertaining to it, but it didn't really hammer that home that your technique is to neutralize all of energy. You just more of said, I neutralized it.
Right, yeah.
That's the difference between... Oh, yeah, I fixed the door for you, and didn't I tell you I'm a fucking door repairman?
Yes, it is very different. It is just why can he do that?
I fixed your computer versus I am a computer. There's a pretty good moment, though, where Beers goes, finally, I've won at last, as Goku's had the shit beaten out of him, and he's being, blown the fuck up by an energy thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And then Goku goes, think again! He says it in such an angry and hilarious way.
Yes.
You may hate Sean Schimmel, but I feel like his delivery is bringing a lot to the humor here. Like him and Il Palazzo, who also is a human voice actor with a name. I just don't know it.
Yeah, he does a really good job in these, I think. It really adds a lot to it.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to the Japanese. Maybe
what's the name of the Japanese voice actress? Monica Rial? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. You got it.
I'm sure she brings a lot to it. You know, I hear from a lot of people who don't even know that it's a chick who voice acts Goku in Japan that it annoys them that Goku sounds like a chick.
Oh, yeah.
So then why does it trigger Xeon so much? End of statement, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
they cast Goku as a woman. When it bugs people that a man sounds like a woman.
Right.
Sounds like a fairly decent complaint. It's not like Goku's androgynous.
No. It is weird. Yeah. And something hard to get used to. In a casting that was done, when it would...
I mean, they kept the same voice actress.
Yeah, shoot Dragon Ball and T.
Yeah, and he was a kid in Dragon Ball, so it made sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not just trying to say things to trigger Xeon.
Definitely not.
I promise.
Right? No, this is all legit. It's not about that. We're not trying to get into Rage Quit another episode.
Okay, I'm not going out of my way to make him Rage Quit an episode. I'm just saying things that are on my mind that will probably make him blow up the comment section. Goku loses his Super Saiyan-ness and starts burning up on re-entry.
Yes. And then, which looks hilarious, but it probably isn't meant to.
Right, no. And the whole thing is, Beerus is like, I started my attack on you with this. I'm going to end this whole battle with it. And he does the finger, like, thwack to the forehead thing, where he just takes his thumb, holds it back, and then lets go and sends him into the atmosphere. And then he goes, this is a perfect ending, blah, blah, blah. The way it began, the way it ended, and then
he
Goku
literally says it's poetic. And it's like
poetic,
it's
and then Goku like screams at him and flies out of it. And then he goes, "You ruined my perfect ending, you stubborn freak of nature." And that's pretty great. That's a great line.
It's good.
It's good comedy. There's some good jokes in here. I'm looking ahead at my notes. And then Goku's like, as long as I have energy in me, I'm gonna fight you. And Beer's like, well, just put all of it in one fucking attack, more. Then Goku's like, okay, Kamehameha! And he shoots a really big Kamehameha. And then Beerus shoots his gyroscope thing.
I guess. His gyroscope. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Pretty gyroscope-ish. So he shoots that at Goku, and then they start clashing, and then it makes a sun.
They should really have come up with some dumb name for it. Like, just have him yell Sunday Bash or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just go full Budokai. Make up dumb names.
I can't remember. I think it was called Double Sunday.
Double Sunday.
Because you're thinking Midnight Sunday Bash, which is what we keep saying Iron Man's saying in Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Mm-hmm. And he's definitely saying that.
Apparently he's supposed to be saying it's time for payback.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really different.
That's what I hear. And then everyone's like, looking at it, and it's huge, and it's the sun, and then Goku yells, "What the hell is that thing?" And then it cuts to the commercial break. That was funny,
right? It's good stuff.
And then things happen. Goku punches it. It dissipates the energy, but that takes all of Goku's energy, and then he starts falling to the earth, and he burns up on re-entry again.
Yes. Then he falls all the way back down to the ship, and
Vegeta catches him, and then Goku's like, "Nice catch," and he's like, "Fuck you." Eat a dick. And then Beers shows up, and everyone's like, "Get ready, we may have to fight Beers." And Beers is like, "Yep, well, time to blow up your planet like I said I was gonna." And they're like, and Goku goes, wait, Beers, please, just don't blow up the planet. Please, I beg you. And he's like, nope, Destroyer's got to do what Destroyer's got to do, so planet Earth, I'm coming for you. And then he shoots a giant beam, and everyone freaks out. And then it misses everyone and flies into the atmosphere. And then it cuts back to Beers, and he's asleep. And everyone's like, what, are you serious? And then Whis is like, yep, he spends most of his day just taking naps, eating, and watching anime. And then he's like, well, gotta go. And then he takes Beers and flies away back to his home planet to get him, take a nice nap in a hot sauna to relax. And, before they leave, Whis is like, thank you, Goku. It's been a long time since he's fought at his full power level for such an extended period of time. And Goku's like, glad I could help. And Whis is like, someday we'll have to repay you. By the way, if we come back, you better have pudding, because he's going to be really pissed if you don't. And then he leaves. And then he's like, that was pretty convincing, Beers. You made them really think you fell asleep. And he's like, what? I did fall asleep. And then he's like, how about we get back and then I can suck your dick? And Beers is like, yeah. And then it ends.
Yeah. All this happened.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And then we move on to episode 15. Yeah. What was it? Wasn't there a comment on the last episode of this podcast where someone was like, the worst part of fucking Super is that dumb little ditty in the middle?
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, dumb little ditties are like half of what I punctuate my jokes about shitty animes with. So I do it a lot with Super and GT and Zeta Gundam. Why are we watching 3 shitty animes all at once? I want to fucking kill myself.
Yeah, no, it's miserable.
Jesus Christ. Our batting average was so much better with fucking GigaBoots. One of those animes we watched was Punchline.
Yeah, right?
Punchline's better than all 3 of these things.
Yeah, it was. Oh, man.
Oh, jeez. That really has me rethink some things. Next week, Punchline versus Super versus GT versus Zeta Gundam.
This isn't even a competition. Let's get out of here.
Episode 15.
Yeah.
Bob, you go ahead. You know what? I spent most of this time summarizing. You summarize.
Okay. So it starts off this episode, and we're back at Goku's house, and he's recovered from all the injuries from the fight, and him and Chi-Chi are talking about stuff. And Chi-Chi's like,
bottle of water?
No, I'm all right.
Okay.
Then Chi-Chi says, man, I lost my train of thought there. It's not good. They already spent all the money they learned at the beginning of this series. So Goku needs, the 100 million zenny. So Goku needs to go back to work, get back on the fields, and he can't go train. But
Goku freaked out at her for spending it all. And then she was like, well, I spent a lot of it, and the rest we're gonna save because Gohan has a baby on the way, and you don't want to have that baby look up to a grandfather who's some idiot who fights aliens. And I was like, I don't know.
I mean, God, the absurdity of this. When yet another powerful warrior, more powerful than ever before, has shown up, Chi-Chi is still like, nah, Goku, stop training. You can't be ready for these guys. You just gotta come up to your doorstep every other week.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow be more powerful than the last one.
Yep.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. Chi-Chi's frustrating.
Yeah, like, she is one of the many women in Dragon Ball. They're all bad.
Somebody was like, Dragon Ball perfectly writes rich women. I was like, not every rich woman's a goddamn moron. Sheltered, yes, but like I feel like somewhere in the last 2 decades of Goku saving the world, Chi-Chi would have put 2 and 2 together and be like, I guess we would be dead if not for my husband.
No, still not getting true to her.
Nope. So then what happens?
What happens then? Then we cut to Gohan and Fidel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Gohan decides to cook food for Fidel because he doesn't want Fidel cooking while she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Doesn't want her having to do the work.
But check this out, guys. Gohan can't cook.
Whoa. Zany.
Bazinga!
You'd think that he was cooking when he was, 8 or 5 or whatever he was when Piccolo threw him out in the desert. But I guess that's different. I wouldn't really
call that cooking.
Look, he just light some fires.
He wasn't baking out there, Bob.
Yeah, he was.
He wasn't making rice pilaf out there. But I feel like teenage Gohan, properly, actually teenage Gohan, like Saiyaman era, like 18, 19 Gohan would probably know how to cook.
You'd think, but I guess he was sheltered and kept or taken care of by his mom, and Never cooked for himself.
Oh, jeez.
I guess that's what happened. But now we know.
That's terrible.
And then we cut to Vegeta, who's standing in the middle of a desert, like thinking about how Goku got so much more powerful and how he's not going to stand for that.
And normally I would clarify the finer points of what Vegeta said, but in this case, I'll let it pass.
Then we cut to Mr. Satan, who's having a press conference about how he defeated or saved the world.
Yes.
And
then we cut to aliens.
Yeah.
There are some aliens, and they're headed for Earth, and they look weird.
Right. And
there's
they have
some sort of poodle on their display.
Right, they have a poodle on their display.
Make some sort of remark about how powerful it is or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Satan as he re-envisions the fight with Beers, but he's the main hero, and he's fighting Beers in space, and Beers is like Satan Beers, like a demon Beers with bat wings and stupid bullshit and a forked tongue.
It's good.
It's real good. And then
he calls him Beavis.
Beavis or Beavis?
Beavis is what I kept hearing.
I thought it was Beavis.
Like Beavis and Butthead.
I mean,
I assume that's what Whis is.
Yes. Whis is definitely Butthead. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no. Beavis. Yeah. And then Satan and his reimagining becomes Super Saiyan Satan.
Yes.
In space. As he fights Demon Beavis. He looks very Hulk Hogan because now his handlebar mustache becomes blonde.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, geez, that's really, really bringing it home. Like, it was a bit less. You had to imagine it being blonde. You had to imagine he was Hulk Hogan, even though he had the jawline. Like, the structure of his face is very much going for a Hogan, like, taller but still defined.
Right, and he's definitely like a parody in that character
of that wrestler archetype. Yeah. So, he's talking about that and stuff, and then a UFO comes down, and everybody's freaking out and runs away, and then two dog-like aliens come out of it, and they're like, we heard a powerful warrior defeated Lord Beers, and we're here to thank them. Do you know who did that? And they're freaking out. Because, they're fucking aliens. But then eventually someone's like, oh, it's Mr. Satan here. They're like, oh, let me explain. We're from Planet Snack, and we're here to thank you for defeating the Destroyer. So now we'll do our ceremonial dance to show appreciation. And then they do a dumb dance, and it's supposed to be funny.
Right, and it's not. It's like the least funny thing in Super.
Yep. Correct.
And they like roll it out
Twice.
Yeah.
So they give Hercule. I'm switching. They give Hercule a medal.
It's pretty good.
And he takes the medal and he's like, yeah. And then they have a warrior on the ship, and the warrior's like, I'm not going to respect him as a hero until I fight him and he proves he's more strong. And they're like, yep, that's also a thing with our culture. That's just how that goes. So you should fight him. And then Hercule's like, oh shit, I gotta find that Goku and Gohan or anyone. And he's like, I have butt problems. And he runs away. And in the bathroom, he calls up everyone and no one's answering. And he's just like, how about Vegeta? And then Vegeta doesn't answer. He's like, oh my God, help me, someone. So he goes out there to fight the dog thing because he couldn't find anyone.
Right.
He's like, any moment now, I need Krillin or the green guy or someone to leap out of this audience and help me. Jesus Christ, why won't they help? And then he's about to start the fight, right? And then Goku starts flying over air with the tractor in his hand.
Yeah, just holding the tractor in one hand, flying up like just completely insane.
Yes. And then he's like, oh, hey, Hercule, how's it going? And he's like, oh, thank God you're here. Fight this guy. He's like, well, Chi-Chi told me not to. And he's like, well, you really should do it because I need you to. And he's like, you can help me. And then Goku's like, okay, I'll fight this guy. Chi-Chi doesn't want me to train, but I'll fight him if you say so. And then he gets in the ring. And he's about to start a fight with the guy. And then Piccolo, carrying 3 billion packages of food, walks down the street with Chi-Chi. And he's like, what am I even doing here?
Right?
Which is pretty great. That is some good self-aware comedy writing. And then Chi-Chi's like, my boys are going to eat for a really long time on all of this food. Right? It's like, what happened? It's so much better than the Hercule thing. Like, the Hercule thing was great just for that one re-envisioning thing, and everything else was like, we get it. We get why this is funny, but it's not actually.
Yeah.
Please stop. But then that one joke, which may have just been in the dub.
Who knows? I want to believe in the
original writers realized how dumb it was for Piccolo to be there.
Yes, how insane that was.
I would like to believe that too. My notes actually end there, but I know the rest of the episode it's just not interesting. So Chi-Chi starts screaming at Goku.
Right.
Goku's like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. Hercule, punch me in the face. He goes, what? And he's like, punch me. Just throw a punch in my face. And then he does that and motions into the side of Goku's face. And then Goku goes, whoa! And then leaps away, lands on his tractor. And he's like, oh no, I'm flying away. Also with my tractor. As he grabs the tractor and flies away.
It's good.
It's just pretty great.
It's better than any moment in GT.
Oh shit. I really did love the hotel. That was insane. A refrigerator that barfs food at you and then rings up your bill is pretty fucking funny.
It was all right. It was.
I liked it. But no, this was really funny.
It was no Piccolo shopping with Chi-Chi and then that happening.
Yeah, no. Okay, we're counting both of those?
Yeah, we make the one moment. Jesus.
You're very right. Damn it. So then Hercule's like running away from him and the crowd's realizing Hercule's a wuss and he's like, okay, I need to fight this guy for real. Hercule starts to double down, starts to like flex his muscles and he's going to throw a punch and he's imagining himself as Super Saiyan Satan, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, I am the Earth's defender. And he goes to punch him and then the warrior dude sees the dog, just Hercule's dog hanging out behind him and he starts freaking out and he runs back into the ship. And then the other two... Oh, yeah. Actually, before he runs back into the ship, Hercule punches him. You know?
Yeah. They like about to punch each other, so Hercule...
But, like, the dude freaks out and stops going to punch him because of the dog. And Hercule just throws a really weak sauce punch into the dude while he's stunned by the dog. And then he runs away into the ship, terrified of the dog. And the other two, the ambassador and whoever the fuck the other person was, are like, huh. It looked like he looked at that dog and then ran away. That's weird. I wonder why that dog scared him. But now that I'm looking at it, and then they both go, oh God, and then they run away. And then everyone's like, wow, Hercule, your punch was so strong that it scared away that guy and scared away the other two too. Good job. Ha 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 ha.
And everything worked out.
And they don't really fully cover why they were afraid of that dog.
Yeah, no, they go and cut to the aliens out in space and like, we need to quarantine that planet. We can't.
For like 1,000 years.
Yeah, there's no... How could we not notice that was there?
Our scanners didn't pick it up. They say these things. These are things they say.
It's weird.
And then it cuts to Goku outside of his own house, and Chi-Chi's like, oh, your dad's going to be working late tonight because he better be working late. Because if he comes home without having finished his job, I'm going to fuck him up the ass. And then Goku's like, I don't like that. She knows I don't like that. I guess I'll stay out here.
If it were that blatant, it'd be better.
She's wearing the strap on as she explains this to her children.
This is a kid's anime. Playing at 6 in the morning.
Can't show blood. You can show that dick. GT taught me that. As long as it's a dick on or going in Goku, it's okay to show the kids.
Wait, what was that second part?
And thank you for watching the GT versus Super podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment saying you enjoyed this. Leave a comment spoiling things later in the series. Leave a comment telling Zeon he's a coward for not leaving a larger comment last episode. Go comment on his review of the Battle of Gods season review arc thing. What do they call this arc? Battle of Gods arc?
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Go leave a comment on his review. He did a review. Go watch that. Go unsubscribe from him if you're subscribed.
That's important.
This is the part where I tell them to do things and then they do them, no matter how insane, right? Go get a large blizzard from Dairy Queen. One of those with the core in them. You know, the kind that just tastes like they emptied a Hershey bottle into the thing. Just drink that. Don't even need the ice cream. Just get a straw and drink the fucking core. Thanks for listening to this episode of GT versus Super. I hope we all learned a lot today. If you enjoyed this, you should probably subscribe and comment below saying exactly, quote, I enjoyed this. That's the only way we'll know if you enjoyed this. And after you do those, maybe back us on Patreon and, I don't know, spam us with comments. Be like, I'm only backing you for your dumb Dragon Ball podcast. That helps us figure out why people like us. And it's really helpful because, as it turns out, if the podcast doesn't get any views and we don't get any support, eventually we have to stop it because we only have a limited amount of time. But I'm really getting off topic. What I'm here to say is thank you.
This Ratchet's video is brought to you by our radical executive producers, Vincent Povek, Cywo, Nicholas Cameron, Ian A. Bowles, Joshua Madley, Brendan O'Sullivan, Jonathan Chida, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Shadow in the Darkness, and Melissa. Thank you to all of our Ratchet's executive producers, and also these guys.
Head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today and become one of these names.